Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, students, today we are going to study a beautiful monologue written by Robert Browning. And you know that Robert Browning was extremely famous for his presentation of character studies in his monologues. And in order to understand the proper depth of his characters and his art, it's very important to understand the kind of background setting or the context in which he keeps his characters. So, first of all, very important to remember that this Duke actually belongs to the era of Italian Renaissance, the era of 15th and 16th century, when the rulers of those times used to show great patronage for art and literature, and the same characteristic is being displayed by this Duke as well. And number two, it's very important to remember that the wife of this Duke has died. His last Duchess has died, and in fact, it has been murdered at his own orders. And now, a duke, in fact, a messenger from the neighboring dukedom, has come to him with the alliance of the daughter of his duke, and he has come for the negotiations. So the present duke, the Duke of Ferrara, who actually is trying to impress him with his wonderful patronage or love of art or the understanding of art. So he says that that's my last Duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder. Now Fra Pandolf's hands work busily a day, and there she stands. How proud and how happy he is at the beauty of that picture. He says that that's my last Duchess painted on the wall. I call it a wonder. And Fra Pandolf's hands worked busily a day. Fra means, a father or a priest. So actually, he decided that not a common man should interact, or a lay man should interact with his wife while drawing his painting, but a priest from the church should come and should draw, or should make that portrait. And that's why he says that his hands worked busily a day, and there she stands. That means he only gave one day to Frau Pandolf. He didn't want that any intimacy should grow between the painter and his wife, and that is why he gave him only one day. So it shows the kind of narrow mindedness, or it shows the kind of um, possessiveness that the duke has in his personality. And he says that, will it please you to sit and look at her? I said, Fra Pandolf, by design, for never read. So I said Fra Pandolf by design. By design means intentionally. I'm a kind of a person who doesn't like a common man or a layman to interact with his wife. So that's why I decided that a fra or a priest should make the painting of my wife. For never read strangers like you that pictured countenance, the depth and passion of its earnest glance, but to myself they turned. Since none puts by the curtain, I have drawn for you, but I. That means whoever looks at this beautiful picture, he starts looking at me with questioning eyes, as if he has certain questions that he wants to ask. But I'm a man of so great stature that people do not have the courage and the dare to ask these questions. So he says that none puts by the curtain I have drawn for you, but I. And this line also, once again, points out the kind of possessiveness he has with people. So that means he also takes people just like things. He wants them that they should have their relation only with him and not with other people at all. So he says that since none puts by the curtain I have drawn for you, but I. And seemed as they would ask me if they durst. Durst means if they have the courage, if they have the dare, they would ask me a question, how such a glance came there? So not the first are you to turn and ask this. So if the question in your eyes that you have, you are not the only first person who actually is looking at me with these questioning eyes. Uh, Everyone who looks at this beautiful picture, he actually has this question in his eyes, that how such a glance came there. There was something strange in that picture. There was something extremely wonderful in that picture there, that made it lifelike. And that is why he says that, sir, it was not her husband's presence only called that spot of joy into the Duchess' cheek. Of course, this Duchess is smiling, and this smile is extremely beautiful to look at. But it's not that I am nearby her, so that is why she is smiling. Perhaps Fra Pandolf chanced to say, her mental lapse over my lady's wrist too much, or paint must never hope to reproduce the faint half flush that dies along her throat. That means Fra Pandolf might have made some good remarks about her beauty, and that might have brought that beautiful smile upon her face. That paint doesn't have the capability to capture this beauty, and paint must never hope to reproduce the faint half flush, the reddishness that dies along her throat. Perhaps Fra Pandolf might have said that her mental lapse over my lady's wrist too much. Mantle means the piece of the dress on the arms. So he says that uh, it was not because I was standing over there, but surely Fra Pandolf might have said a thing like this, and that is why she was smiling like this. Now here it's very important, students, that he actually said all these words in a very arrogant and in a very disapproving tone, as if he didn't like that why she was smiling. Such a stuff was courtesy. She thought and cause enough for calling up that spot of joy. These petty remarks are powerful enough to make her smile. She had a heart, how should I say, too soon made glad, too easily impressed. She liked whatever she looked on, and her looks went everywhere. Again, see the kind of hatred that the Duke has now in his voice for his wife, because he says that she was a kind of lady who used to become happy on very small things and very petty stuff that we great people shouldn't pay too much attention, or shouldn't be too much. So she was extremely, she used to become happy upon those things, that when somebody used to say her good things, or when somebody used to bring some flowers to her, or some fruit to her, so it used to make her extremely happy, and then she used to show her pleasure at that act of the people, and that used to bring that spot of joy upon her face as well. And I didn't like that all, though the Duke is not saying it openly, but that's what he means, that he didn't like his wife to have this sort of condescending nature. So he says that she had a heart, how shall I say, too soon made glad, too easily impressed. She liked whatever she looked on, and her looks went everywhere. Sir, it was all one. My favors at her breast, the dropping of the daylight in the west. My favors at her breast means when I brought him some beautiful necklace that she wore, and it was looking very beautiful, full upon her. So she was very happy at that necklace. But when she looked at the dropping of the daylight, the afterglow of the setting sun in the west, she also praised it as well, as if she had forgotten my necklace. And it also made me extremely unhappy, and it actually irritated me. The bow of cherries some officious fool broke in the orchard for her, the white mule. That means some servants in the court used to bring him the bow of cherry, and or somebody used to bring him the white mule, and she rode with round the terrace. All and each would draw from her alike the approving speech. So these were the petty things, these were the unimportant things, but these things were extremely important to her, and she used to be very happy, and she used to thank people, she used to show her gladness upon these petty things. Or blush at least. That means, at least she used to smile, or she used to blush at such petty stuff. So she thanked men. Good, but thanked somehow. I know not how. This is also revealing the character of Duke. That he was a man of an extremely ungrateful nature. He never realized that people around him who are working for him, they should also be respected. They should also be acknowledged, that they are playing a very important role in making his life a beautiful life. So he says that she thanked man. She used to thank people, but good, that it's very good that she used to thank people, but thanked somehow, I know not how. That it's very strange for me that how a person can thank other person. if she ranked my gift of 900 years old name with anybody's gift. The necklace that I brought to him, as it is pointing out here, my favors at her breast, she ranked that necklace to anybody's gift. So that's what he is of the view that, if I had brought her that necklace, she should have been talking about me only. She should have been completely grateful to me, and she should have forgotten each and everything around him, and should have praised me for my gift of a 900 years old name. That my it is also my grace that I have married that lady, and I, whose family actually has been reigning this dukedom for 900 years. So she should have been thankful to me only, but she used to thank other people, and that was very strange for me as well. Who would stoop to blame? So I'm not a kind of person who would like to argue with other people, so I just couldn't stoop to blame. I just didn't want to go into the blame game. Okay. This sort of trifling, that these sort of stupid things. So he believes that it is a very stupid thing to be thankful to people, to show your happiness if they are doing something good to you, and to acknowledge their goodness to you. So he says that this sort of trifling, even had you skill in speech which I have not. It's clear enough that when it comes to be courteous to people, he doesn't have the proper speech. So he says that even had you the skill in speech which I have not, to make your will clear. That even if you have the skill, I was a kind of person who didn't have the skill to make my will or my intention or my inner feelings clear. So I kept harboring the hatred for my wife during those times. Even if you had the skill to make your will quite clear to such an one, that means to my wife, I didn't have the skill to make my will or my intentions quite clear, and say, just this or that in you disgusts me, here you miss or there exceed the mark. She didn't understand my feelings, or the way, the kind of behavior that I wanted from her. So that's why I didn't have the skill to make her realize what was displeasing for me in her behavior, in her, or in her character. So, and if she let herself be lessened, so nor plainly set her wits to yours. So if I would have made my will clear, that just this or that in you disgusts me, here you miss or there exceed the mark, even in that case she wouldn't have set her wits to yours. The kind of adjustment that she would have made to me, it would have been an adjustment by force. It would have not been an adjustment by her sweet desire or by her sweet will. So forsooth and made excuse, even then would be some stoopings. Even in that case, I believe it would have been a stooping scenario for me. Stoop means to get down. So I just didn't want to get down. So I choose never to stoop. That what had been the feature of my life. I choose never to stoop. Oh, sir, she smiled, no doubt, whenever I passed her. But who passed without much the same smile? She was very courteous to me, but she was courteous to other people as well, and she used to smile at other people as well. And this grew. I gave commands, and then all smiles stopped altogether. This grew, that means it grew. It reached a point where I just couldn't tolerate her behavior. So I gave commands to some of my trustworthy servants, that they should kill her, and then all smiles stopped altogether. How cruel this line is, and how wonderfully it has been written in this poem. There she stands, as if alive. Now see, after getting her killed, getting her murdered, how callously, how feeling lessly he's talking about her portrait. That there she stands, as if alive. Will it please you rise? We will meet the company below. Then I repeat, the Count, your master's known munificence, is an ample warrant that no just pretense of mine for dowry will be disallowed. So he says that let's go down now. Some people are waiting for us downstairs. So will it please you rise, we will meet the company below. Then I repeat that, I would like to repeat, I would like to make it clear that, of course, your count wants his daughter to be married to me, but I am sure that he will also send, dowry, sufficient dowry, ample dowry with her daughter to me as well. So that's what he says, that, I repeat, the count, your master's known munificence is ample warrant that, your master is known for his munificence, for his generosity. So I'm sure that, it is an ample warrant, it is a clear cut guarantee that no just pretense of mine, that if I demand some dowry for her from him, along with her daughter, then it will also be given to me, it will not be disallowed. So though his fair daughter's self, as I avowed at starting, is my object. He is, how clever he is, that he says that, as far as dowry is concerned, it's not my real object. I believe that his daughter is the most beautiful thing that I'm receiving from him. But I believe that, he will also uh, give me the dowry that I demand from him. Though his fair daughter's self, as I vowed at starting, is my object. This is, the kind of cleverness he is, displaying over here. Nay, we will go together down, sir. Okay, he says that, okay, sir, now we will go down, sir. And he says that, notice Neptune. So while going down, he shows him the statue of a Neptune. He says that, notice Neptune, though taming a seahorse. That, look at Neptune, the sea god. He is taming a seahorse. And though a thought a rarity. I mean, this is also a very beautiful thought, a rare thought, that the claws of Innsbruck cast in bronze for me. This is the name of a sculpturist or an artist who, according to him, has brought this beautiful this beautiful statue. So you can see, students, that as Aristotle, whenever somebody used to come to the academy of Aristotle, Aristotle used to say him, speak so that I may know you. So when you are speaking, you actually are revealing your character as well. And in this particular case, the Duke is trying to impress the messenger from the neighboring dukedom, but during the effort of impressing that messenger, he actually revealed too many things about his own personality as well, that how cruel, how clever, how greedy, how callous, and how heartless he is. His apparent claim for the love of beauty can be compared with his inward ugliness as well, that how ugly he is inwardly, how dark he is, how abominable he is inwardly. And from outward point of view, he always has, all these beautiful pictures around him, and he just tries to please people with the beauty of his pictures. So, the beautiful things that you collect around you just to impress people, these beautiful things should not be the these beautiful things should not be your introduction, the beautiful things that you possess. In fact, your real introduction should be your deeds, your thoughts, your dealings with other people. And if from that point of view you are not beautiful, then all the collection of these beautiful things will actually be of no use, and people will automatically realize the kind of ugliness or hideousness that actually you possess in your soul. Thank you.